all going to be winners now. So if you didn't take out your papers and pencils before, which you should have, okay, I get to introduce to you somebody that I went and listened to. He was so great, I listened twice. Okay, so I want to be able to introduce to you a global expert that's going to change your mind on flooring forever. He has 5 out of 5 star in all of the expertise, is quoted in the magazine articles and the professional industry. Again, 5 out of 5 by his peers. So be nice. We already beat him up at 50%. Then we make him throw in free shipping and handling. So let me introduce to you, from the workshops at OSU, Ohio State, and 100 other colleges, let me introduce to you Mark Farnsworth, our global flooring expert.
Thank you. It was a great opportunity to speak at Cincinnati. I don't know if anyone had heard me there or not, but it was a great opportunity. I just spoke at Dayton 2 weeks ago, very involved with the Akron-Canton area. I am from Canton, Ohio. A little background on myself. I was born into the flooring industry. My father owned a carpet and furniture store. Now, one thing about our upbringing, every brothers and sisters were all very, very successful. We're all in the flooring industry. My father never allowed us to watch TV, and people don't even believe that, but it is true. We were allowed a family night every night to watch Happy Days. After Happy Days, the TV went off, and my father said, the reason that people make more money than you, they're smarter than you, and they're more educated than you. So my father actually had a library of books, and he said the knowledge and the money is sitting right there. If you guys really, really want to be successful in life, you have to read. My children are very, very successful in life, but we emphasize reading. By reading, I was able to write a book. Everyone has always said to you, write a book. Everybody in this room could write a book. When I wrote my book, I was 62 years old. I'm now 65. It took me 3 years to write a book. So you don't just sit down. I know Anna has some bestsellers, and she will tell you it's very, very difficult because of the fact when you start out, your book is about this big. But then you have somebody tell you, explain what you're trying to explain to me in 7th grade education, not in college education. Because if you do not write a book in 7th grade education, people will not understand it because they don't understand what you're really trying to say. I'm going to give you a perfect example. And the Jacobs guy cannot talk. Does anyone in this room know what vinyl composition towel is? What is vinyl composition towel? In 7th grade, it's this product right here. This is vinyl composition towel. So when you write a book, we don't write what is vinyl composition towel. We talk about the material that's on the basic floor of Walmart, something that you can relate to, okay? That's how I educate. Yes, my book is in over 100 colleges in Ohio only right now. The reason was I met a professor at Ohio State University. His name's Ben King, and he is quoted in my book. Ben King said to me, here's our problem. I have students from all over the United States. They're from Arizona to Michigan to whatever. But you cannot use the same flooring in Arizona that you might use in Grand Rapids. Moisture, product selection, things of this nature, they all affect flooring, okay? My statement in my website is a flooring will never fail. That's true. You come to the Canton Courthouse, it's marble. It's never going to fail. The minute you put the wrong product down, your floor will always fail. So what you need to analyze is what product goes in what application. Once you establish that, then you can start selecting a flooring product that fits your needs, all righty? People talk about negativity as far as big box stores, Jacob's Supply, things like that. They'll say, I went there, bought that product, I'll never go back, they ripped me off. No, you bought the wrong product. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't Home Depot's fault. You were not educated enough to understand what product goes in what area, all righty? Now, yes, I do sell my manuals. These manuals are $50. But what people don't realize is when you get a book, in today's world, everything's online with videos and things like that, all righty? So in turn, for that $50, if you buy my program, you will come here, and it's going to give you different options to get trained. In this option, you will see selections such as $50 with 14 videos. $50 will include, or $150 will include 1 hour of Mark Farnsworth talking to you. I talk to you the same way you lose weight. If you try to lose weight on your own, a lot of times you don't succeed. But a lot of times, if you get a personal trainer that tells you what you're doing wrong or things like that, you succeed faster. If I have to come to your location, most of the flooring stores today that you're familiar with, maybe it's a Carpet One or somebody of that nature, they will actually hire me to come and do a one-on-one with their employee to educate them. The reason is I was a vice president of 5 retail stores. I would be in Canton, Ohio at this retail store. At my Worcester location, which was another 50 miles south of me, they were on their own, so they would sell the wrong product. At 7 o'clock at night, I would go out to a house. I'd be greeted by a Great Dane dog. They would have a carpet like this, and it would look like a fuzzball, like going right down the middle of this. And they go, in a court of law, the judge is going to say, didn't they tell you they had a dog? Well, yeah, they told us they had a dog. Then why'd you sell them that carpet? You know the dog's toenails are going to make that carpet look like that. So in turn, I never argued with the customer because I knew we made the mistake. We sold them the wrong product. I always just replaced anything. It drove my owner of my company crazy. But I said, Dan, you have to understand, we're going to lose. We're going to lose every case that we go out on because it's our fault. It's not the customer's fault, it's the professional's fault. We directed them the wrong direction, all righty? So I just want to show you a quick preview here. Ohio State University said to me, our students are learning online. They don't want to talk to you. They want videos. So in turn, when you purchase my book, the computer will automatically generate a password for you. Get them all 4? Yep. And then what will happen is a good-looking guy is going to pop up. And in this, I have 14 chapters. I have 14 videos. So what happened was when I went to Ohio State University, and I was talking to a young lady back there in the corner about these phones, and I said, there wasn't one single child that wanted this downloaded on their phone. They said the reason is they all want this, and they want hard paper. They want to watch that video. Then they want to rerun it, watch it again, rerun it, watch it again. Even though they're reading it here, they still want to visually see it. With their phones, they're getting interruptions constantly, whether it be a text or somebody calling. In this world, it's all texts. And their phone's constantly interrupting them. So they said, why would I have it on my phone? They said, that's crazy. We want it just like this, with 14 videos on 14 chapters. Now, in turn, I train the professors. And we're going to talk about a school that Anna just put together today for this location, okay? By training the professors, I walk the professors through a complete PowerPoint presentation. The number one thing when you're purchasing flooring, you have to, I'm sorry, I'm going to skip some of this. Okay, let me just get to where I want to be. Sorry about this. A lot of this introduction we don't need to get to, but we need to get to here. When I talk about, I want to get down here a little farther for you. This is everything that I'm teaching in this book, but it's not where I want to be right now because I don't have 7 hours to go through all this. Okay, we want to get to right here. I recovered a lot of this, but I want to get down here to the bottom. I want to talk about new technology. That's what I want to talk about. I just talked to the gentleman from Jacob Supply, and I said to him, how much sheet vinyl are you selling today? He said, sheet vinyl, it doesn't exist anymore, okay? This is sheet vinyl, right here. I don't know if you remember or not, but you used to go to Jacob Supply, Home Depot, your local carpet store, and they would have racks and racks, correct, of sheet vinyl. What we used to do was we used to pull it off a rack, we would lug it, we would cut it, we'd roll it up, try bringing it in your home, roll it out, and so on. China said, no, that's a bad idea. China got together with one of our major box stores and said, why don't we just slice this into lengths, all righty? We have a product called PVC backing. That's your plastic decking is what it is. It's the same thing, your plastic rails that are outside. They said we could take that plastic and we can, in turn, mill it into a 4-foot, a 4-inch, 7-inch, 3.5-inch, whatever it might be width, and a 4-foot length, and put it in boxes. And then we could take this, a male and female, and actually click it together. And no longer will these customers not be wanting to do it themselves. They can actually carry boxes in and start putting it on the floor and do it themselves. In turn, the term luxury vinyl towel was created, all righty? The mistake they made was when you put sheet vinyl down in a sheet, you glue it to the floor. So now it's permanent on the floor, okay? When the LVTs, and if you have this problem, when the first LVTs first coming out, we did not put what we call rigid core, which is a stabilizer between the backing and the vinyl. We just cut the vinyl, we applied it to the PVC, and then we sold it that way. What happened was the sunlight started making our tops grow, okay? And it just made sense because in order to apply this, you apply it with heat. So you bring this edge up to here, the cover right here. If you heat it again, it just wants to keep growing, okay? It just wants to keep coming and coming and coming. So in turn, they said we cannot have that happening because what's happening is in your homes, you're looking at product like this and all of a sudden it's peaking. I don't know if you've ever seen that in your own home. It's caused by the vinyl actually growing. It will happen today if you put waterproof flooring in any of your homes and your consumer decides to take hot water extraction, which is a jet cleaner of hot water, and they start cleaning that floor, all they're doing is applying steam to this and making it grow. Your renter could actually ruin your floor. We go out on these claims. We go out, we hear we wonder what the heck. Everybody blames the subfloor, this and that. And then I walk over and I go, are you cleaning with this devil cleaner? And they go, well, yeah, what's wrong with that, you know? And I go, well, you're ruining your floor. You're actually making your floor grow. This is going to get turned down by the manufacturer Jacob Supply is going to apply the claim to the manufacturer. He's going to send what we call an independent inspector out there. He's going to look at the floor, and he's going to say, no claim, this was induced by the homeowner, okay? That's what causes it. Now, it still happens today, but not as much, because now what we're doing, and in my book, I actually have a picture that shows you this picture right here in the book. It shows you step by step how this product is actually made. If it does not say rigid core on the box, I don't care where you buy it, don't buy it, okay? Because it's going to fail. 99, I would say 95% of the product today is rigid core. Now, if we glue it down, we don't need a stabilizer because you're just gluing it straight to the floor, it's going to stay down. So a lot of these products today are offered in glue down or click. And they'll have a board, and it will have a glue down product. It will have a 12 mil and a 20 mil. This board doesn't have that, but just think about it. If this didn't have that backing on, it was sitting right there, that would be your glue down product, okay? Your glue down product retails for around $129 to $199, somewhere there, depending on the millage and that. Yes, you have to glue it down if you're into wheelchair situations, if you're into airports, because it cannot take the abuse of trying to stay locked together when you're constantly pushing a wheelchair on it and getting it to disengage, all righty? So yes, in those applications, we do glue the floor directly to the subfloor, making it a permanent floor. But in today's market, we're getting a lot of click product. Probably 80% of your sales are click, all righty? The reason is people are finding out they don't need carpet installers. These builders are using their finished carpenters, people like that. If a builder can put wood on a cabinet or on a wall, he can surely put wood on the floor. He can put this waterproof flooring on the floor, all righty? A lot of you might be doing your own click products and things like that. But at convention in Cincinnati, a lot of you come up to me and said, Mark, this is a terrible product. And I go, why? And they go, our installers are horrible. And I go, tell me what happened. They go, when I look at it, it's got a little gap in it, a little tiny gap, and it's driving me crazy. And they go, yes, we can kick it back together and move it back together because we know what it's doing. It's disengaging itself, all righty? Well, there again, that's because you purchased the wrong product. It comes down to the fact that they make these products in 12 mil. They make the exact same color, exact same product, same color, same product, everything, but they'll make it in what we call a 20 mil, all righty? What's the difference? What they're talking about is strictly the top. They're not talking about how it engages. They're not talking about anything. Vinyl is made with a WPC backing, which is this backing here, or it can be solid vinyl, whatever it might be, but it's basically made with a base backing. Then you apply your top, all righty? That top can either be a 12 mil, which means it's residential. You have between a 6 mil to a 20 mil that is the most popular, all right? Any performance, any commercial at all, the only thing that we ever sold I had 5 stores, and I can buy from anybody, and you can call me. If we get together, I can tell you where to buy flooring. I know everybody in Dalton, Georgia. I've lived this my whole life, all righty? It's not who you buy it from, it's the actual what you buy. So, being a 12 mil, this is going to carry a 5-year commercial warranty as well as a lifetime residential warranty. The only reason you want to move from a 12 mil to a 20 mil is if you just move from church commercial to airport commercial, all righty? A 20 mil, this is nothing more the same acrylic that's on your end table today. When I was little, my grandmother used to give us a glass of water or soda, and I'm from Pennsylvania, so soda to us is what you guys call pop. It's not ice cream. Okay, Pennsylvania soda is soda, which is cola. But we would ring Grandma's table. Then she would give us the old English and say, you get that ring out. And we'd work. We eventually got it out. Look at your end tables today near your home. You're going to look down. You're going to see a very, very fine of aluminum oxide, which is acrylic. It's the same thing you see here. Your aluminum oxide at 6 mil, 8 mil, 10 mil is not strong enough to prevent scratching and wearabilities and things like that. You need 12 mil to do that for you, to get the performance. You need 12 mil of aluminum oxide finish on top of this piece of vinyl to give you the finish. Now, what you will find out is, how do we harden acrylic? We actually harden it with household sugar. If you've ever made cotton candy, when you spin cotton candy, it gets harder and harder. Cotton candy will turn into a rock. If you really get that wet and hard, it'll turn into a rock. This is sugar. So when somebody moves a refrigerator, something of that nature, and you'll see a white line in it, don't panic. Just go get one of those fiber cloths and wipe it real good. All you did was crack the sugar. You didn't crack the aluminum oxide. You just broke that little barrier right there, and a little bit of sugar come out, made it white. Wipes right off. It's not a damage. It's not claimed. A lot of people think it is because they see their floor all scuffed up. That's why you'll see these LVT products in your Walmarts and in your high-end stores. But what you're not seeing is at night, they're buffing all the sugar scratches out of it. That's what they do at night. That's why when you walk in, it looks brand new all the time. Because all they did was they just keep buffing that sugar off of it. But it's not affecting the product itself. It's not affecting the wearability of the product. It just looks ugly, all righty? So that is no concern at all, is the sugar or the aluminum oxide here. But what you have to pay attention to is the actual click. It is required by law that they mark on the side of the box. It's either going to say 3.2, 4.2, 5.2, 6.5. It will be marked on there. We will never, ever sell anything in our, and I don't even know if you do, less than 3.2 lock system, all righty? The reason what they're telling you, if you've ever wrestled in high school, there's something called locked hands. Locked hands means it engages and you cannot break a grip, and that is a penalty in high school and college wrestling, is locked hands, because it's locked so tight you cannot break it. That's what you want to do here. If you notice here, it is so hard to see, but if you walk up here, you'll see it. This only has, if you think about a saw, it only goes in so far, the male and female, for engagement, all righty? This one here, being a 20 mil, and it doesn't have to be a 20 mil, it could be a 12 mil, but that is a 3.2 lock system. This is a 4.5 lock system. You can almost see it yourself. See how far overlapped that is? That's giving you more engagement, is what it's actually doing. Here's the way you should buy flooring. You should go to Jacob's Supply, any of your favorite retailers, anywhere you buy flooring, and you get the pieces directly out of the box, and you click them together. If they do not lock in the store, they're not going to lock at home. And if they do not lock properly, what's happening is, with movement, because we have to leave our product a 1/4 inch away from the wall, because our product's not going to move, your wall's going to move. Your wall's going to move out and in on us. When it moves in, if you don't leave that 1/4-inch gap, your whole floor starts buckling because you put it too tight, all righty? That's why you leave that gap. It's for that outside wall to move in and out, and it starts pushing it together and disengaging it, all right? That's how it works. So I tell people, the only thing I would buy is a 4.5 lock system, all righty? Now, I have seen incredible buys. I managed 5 retail stores. We did millions in Canton, Ohio. Every store did $2 million each. But what happened was we were the big players in Canton, Ohio. Stainmaster would call us up and they would say, we have 10 trucks of Stainmaster LVT. This Home Depot or Lowe's or somebody, maybe it was a Jacob Supply, canceled the order on us. We're stuck with it. It's sitting in Canton, Ohio. Do you want it? In turn, before I left, I was so mad. I said to my boss, Stan, I need $70,000 right now. He said, why? I said, there's 10 trucks of Stainmaster LVT 4.5 lock system. Normal cost, $229 is my normal cost. I could buy it for $1 because they didn't want to ship it back to Dalton, Georgia. He said, Mark, he said, it's December 15th. I don't want to lay out $70,000 with Christmas coming in cold weather. The next, I think it was 2 days later, Big Lots. Stainmaster LVT, you know what I mean? They sold it at $299. They made a killing. They sold it like that because people like yourself ran in and bought it up. And I knew that would happen because you cannot touch Stainmaster LVT for less than $6.99. So it wasn't that, it was the fact that good buyers know a 4.5 lock system is going to give you the lock that you want. It's going to give you the engagement that you want. All righty? Yes. Yes. By law, it has to be on the box because we import from Korea, South Korea, Vietnam, China, Taiwan. We import from all these manufacturers. They have to be all of our EPA requirements for air quality control. They have to have that on the box with the registered number, and they have to tell you the specs of the product on the box itself. So all you do is just pick up the box and read. On these, a lot of times, they're not on the samples. I'll tell you that right now, because they don't want to tell you a lot of times on the sample. If you ask somebody, if you ask, what was your first name? If you ask John, he will tell you exactly what that lock system is because he knows what it is. But these samples a lot of times don't tell you that. A lot of times you might have to go to John and say, hey, what's the lock system on this? Because you might not have 2 pieces of lock together, okay? 3.2 is the bare minimum. Don't buy anything under a 3.2. It might be 69 cents, but what good is it? If you put it down and it all separates, you just wasted all your money. You know what I mean? You're better off to go to John, pay $2.99, and get something that works the first time than you are to pay 69 cents for something that's going to not even work for you because it's not going to engage. All righty? That is the rundown on waterproof flooring. All righty? Waterproof flooring today is huge. It dominates our industry. It is probably the best family product, the best rental product. Now, the other thing that you have to realize is this is the worst product you can put down for allergies. If you have allergies, anything of that nature, it's horrible because carpet will actually catch those molecules and it will actually stay in the carpet. If you notice your hotels anymore, they're all putting the LVTs in the entrances and all that at the hotels, but the bedrooms themselves, a lot of them don't put LVT in there. They know that they could get better performance out of it in a bedroom, but it also won't allow you to sleep at night. If you have bed allergies or anything of that nature, this here will actually, these particles will actually float in the air and actually make you sick. So that's why in your hotels today, it's better to use carpet than it is the LVT product, all righty? So that's what I talk about in my educational program, in my new technology. Why did we have to bring out new technology? Where we don't have installers. That's what it's coming down to. We need installers, okay? We need inspectors. I talked to the gentleman from roofing. He needs installers. You talk to plumbers. We all need installers. What's happened is the United States is changing. I'll tell you that right now because I've been doing this now for 3 years, and I've been approaching all the career centers, Polaris and so on. We had an HVAC school in Cleveland, Ohio. We could only get 2 instructors was our problem. But we got the 2 instructors. The state of Ohio limited us to 15 kids per instructor. We had 180 kids sign up for HVAC school in Ohio. We could only take 30. So the kids are willing to work. This stuff of, oh, they don't want to work, that's bull. If you give them the opportunity, they will work. They are not prone to go to college as much as they was before. They're seeing people in major debt. They're more prone. My buddy is taught at a high school, a trade school in Ohio. He teaches concrete. He said when he first started teaching 25 years ago, he got all the special eds, all the slow kids, all the dropouts. Today he's getting 4-point students because the 4-point students are realizing they can make $200,000 or $300,000 in their own business. They're starting to realize how important a trade is over books and these computers and things like that. So children, yes?
When you say the village,
yes.
are you talking about that pattern?
Okay, let me explain it one more time.
So when you talk about the millage, are you talking about the pattern, how thick the pattern is?
Correct.
Or are you talking about the finish that lays on top of the pattern?
Okay, then incorrect. Okay, let me back up. Okay. All LVTs made exactly the same. We take a sheet of vinyl, we pull it out, and we slice it into lengths, okay? At that point in time, we take the secondary backing, which is what we call the WPC backing, which is this right here. We then apply the sheet vinyl that we just cut into strips, and we melt those two together. That's made the same at every mill, whether you go to Korea, Vietnam, wherever, that's all made exactly the same. When I'm talking millage, 12 mil, I'm talking the thickness of acrylic that they put on top of that vinyl to come to a 12 mil thickness. Obviously, a 20 mil thickness will make it even thicker. See what I'm saying? At my personal home that I live in, my wife and myself, we have a 25 mil product made by Quick Step out of Canada. Why? It embosses. The more liquid you put on top, when you emboss it, in other words, when you compress it, it's going to look more like wood than if you don't have enough to emboss, alrighty? So once you pass 12 mil, you're starting to get a better look, is what you're starting to do. It will look more realistic the more you put on top. If you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, you will notice there are laminates that look flat as a dog. They just look so plain, okay? Those laminates are 6, 8 mil, 10 mil because there's nothing to emboss. At my house, I personally have laminate. I do not have LVT. I do not have the vinyl. Laminate is made completely different, okay? Laminate is made with sawdust as its base. Then paper is applied, not vinyl, paper. So they take paper. They could actually take your picture and put it on that laminate, and they can make your picture on that laminate. Then they do the same process as they did here. They do not use rigid core because it doesn't expand, paper doesn't expand and contract under heat, it just lays there. But then they start building it, 6 mil, 8 mil, 12 mil, 20 mil, 25 mil. They'll build it all the way up to 30 mil is actually the highest it goes, all righty? But the more they put on there, the more compression, the better it looks, more realistic to you. That's the reason that you'll have the different thicknesses. It's not really for the performance, because after 12 mil, you're getting a 5-year commercial performance. 20 mil is just got more thickness to it, so it's going to give you a higher performance. Does that make sense? Okay? So, yes?
Do they still use the floater pad underneath of them?
In some situations, yes. In laminate, 100% of the time. The floor pad itself that you put down is for sound deadening purposes only. It will not level a floor. People tell you, oh, they put that on to the level of the floor. That is totally incorrect, all righty? Here is in my book, I have a whole section on that. The one thing that you will find common in the underlayments that you're talking about in this chart, which I don't know where it is off the top of my head, but it is in here. There is a chart in here, and it shows you there is a cork underlayment you can get. There's a foam underlayment you can get. There's a rubber underlayment you can get. And it all looks like that picture. This happens to be rubber. See what they did? They applied rubber to the bottom of this for sound deadening purposes, all right? But the most sound deadening, and in my home, it's cork. Cork's absolutely the most sound deadening of all. Cork kills everything, okay? So if you have tenants upstairs and downstairs, there's two, you should not use foam, okay? Foam doesn't give you the sound protection that you want. The best thing to use upstairs and downstairs is cork. There's a product out there in the market today called Cortex. On the waterproof flooring products, Cortex is probably $749, $849 a square foot, okay? The rubber or the foam products might have the same look, but it might be $699. The reason is Cortex is used in the very best of everything. They're using the cork. They're using the 20 mil top. That is the Cadillac of the LVT market, is the Cortex. Now, somebody with the buying power of John, he could buy Cortex. Yes, John?
Jacob Supply is the largest dealer of Cortec in the state of Michigan.
Which means they get exceptional pricing. Because to make that statement is a very, very difficult statement with the amount of retailers we have, but I happen to know who Jacob Supply is. And I'm not building up Jacob Supply on the Cortex. I'm just telling you, I'm biased. I don't care what you buy. I'm just telling you the facts, okay? That's what I'm here to teach you, is the facts.
Have you ever been in a Target store when it first opened?
Yes.
What, is it the flooring that's creating that smell? That odor?
No.
You might.
What's that?
You might.
You might.
They can't hear my question.
Oh.
When I use the question computer,
Oh,
Oh, I didn't see this.
oh, it went wacka?
The question
Okay.
was.
I don't think we really need it.
The question was, if you've been in a Target store when it first opened, and what is that odor?
That off-gassing.
Right.
I'll tell you what that odor is. That odor is the adhesive whenever they put it down, okay? Every adhesive has to off-gas. When the adhesive off-gas, the adhesive gets very, very tacky, all righty? When they first put those in, they're on a time period. Those installers will not do that ever again, okay? Because the ramifications of that was horrible, of the kickback on that. The fact of the matter is, when you adhesive anything, it has to off-gas. I don't know if you remember or not, but we used to have sheet vinyl in houses, and you would go in there, and there's little bubbles, okay? And my father would walk in with a needle, and he'd walk around and he'd hit it without you seeing him, then he'd step on it. What he was doing was he was letting that off-gas because his sons didn't let it off-gas because we wanted to get the job done quickly. My father realized what we were doing was we had to stop that because what will happen is this isn't as bad because it has gaps that allow it to go dissipate. But now you put in a VC towel or you glue that down directly, if you don't let that off-gas, that odor has to go somewhere. It always goes to the side and comes up. That's where it's headed, and that's where it goes. The one misconception that I tell every one of you renters, peel and stick towel is your friend, okay? The reason is, you can buy peel and stick towel, I have seen it from 29 cents a square foot to 79 cents a square foot. But people don't buy it because what they say is, if I put it in a bathroom, eventually it starts curling, correct? If you read my book, it tells you the reason that happens is you have to seal that floor. If you're getting any moisture from that commode, or if you're getting any moisture coming from the basement up, the moisture is counteracting with the towel and allowing it to curl. It wants it to, once again, off-gas. All you have to do, and I'm not going to promote Thompson Water Seal, I'm going to promote a water seal because I have a painter in the room somewhere that knows a lot more than I do about sealing floors. But they have these paints that you can strictly, very inexpensively, paint that floor and put peel and stick down yourself, and it will hold, all righty? It's just how you prep that floor that made it work or not work, all right? So I did want to touch on the peel and stick towel and the LVT. Any questions on waterproof flooring? Yes.
Me?
Oh, there's a hand back
Okay.
there.
Hi, I'm RJ.
Hi, RJ.
And thank you for your presentation. It's
Thank
very
you.
thorough.
Thank you.
All right, I have an application for an entranceway from a sidewalk up a cement ramp, if you will, to
Yeah.
about 8 feet, and then it transitions into 5/8 pressure-treated plywood.
Absolutely.
And what we've done is that on the cement, we sealed the cement with a cement paint,
Okay.
okay? And the transition, we had to also seal the pressure-treated wood.
Wood.
And then on top of that, we put our tiles,
Yes.
okay? Is there something better that we can do? Because we're dealing with wheelchairs,
No.
walkers.
You did correctly exactly what you did, okay?
Oh,
The only thing that I see people make a major, major mistake is when they want to put peel and stick in a basement area, they seal the whole floor. You cannot seal the whole floor. You seal the floor all the way to the very edge of the concrete. That moisture is going to escape. If you trap it all the way to the edges, it has nowhere to come out, okay?
okay.
So you have to leave a tiny space for that moisture to dissipate in that.
Right. We did 3/8 of an inch, if you will.
Yes.
I mean, we actually went around.
That's smart.
3/8 of an inch around, and then we sealed it, and then we put our.
You couldn't have done anything better.
Okay.
That's
All right.
exactly what you should have done.
Thank you. I just wanted confirmation. Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question.
Yes.
You were talking about don't do the vinyl in a bedroom if there's allergies, but would the peel and stick tile have the same issues?
Yes.
It will. Okay.
Because of the fact the allergies will stick to carpet, no matter what. They will stick to carpet. And that's where I'm going next, okay? I want to talk about waterproof flooring. But if there's no more questions on waterproof flooring, I want to go into carpet, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to touch on carpet. Here. These are the exact same carpets, okay? Same color, same everything. How do you know which one to buy, okay? What happens is your uneducated flooring salesman will tell you these are pet-proof because they have a felt back on it. And what they're going to tell you is, if an animal pees on this, because everywhere on this sample, it has pet-proof protection, it has everything, it tells you lifetime pet-proof, everything. An uneducated salesman's going to tell you when the animal pees, this right here traps the pee from going into the cushion, and that's a total misconception, 100%, okay? This is no different than a jute back, action back, any carpet you ever bought before. If you want it 100% pet proof, Anso, made by Shaw Carpet Industries, has one that's thermoplastic. It's very expensive, but it is 100% sealed in plastic, so the yarns cannot, so nothing can penetrate through it. The reason this is on here is we have unqualified installers. This is brand new. It's 2 years old. What's happened is these installers come in and they start wrestling it into your apartment or into your building, and the next thing, they've taken the wallpaper off, they've scratched the paint, they've done everything because this is so rough. In Turkey, they developed felt backing. This backing actually came originally from Turkey. It's now being produced in the United States because it was such a big hit with the rentals, okay? Because the renters found out that they no longer scratched up their woodwork and things like that. The installers love it because it's so flexible to work with. And when we're dealing with unqualified installers, you make it as simple as possible to work with it, all righty? But it's not pet-proof. This product is actually made from pop bottles. Now, let me tell you how they're made. If you go to Dalton, Georgia, you're going to see a train as far as you can see at Mohawk Carpet Industries, at Shaw Carpet Industries, at Engineer Carpet Industries. So those are the three biggest. That's our Ford, Chrysler, Chevy. All righty? Every one of them has trains. And what's happening is all those pop bottles that are being recycled, the peroxide bottles, the 2-liter bottles, anything plastic is thrown into those trains, okay? Those trains are unloaded at our mill. The bottle actually comes down a conveyor belt, and it has holes. This hole's for 2-liter. This hole's for a small liter, things like that. The bottle will actually find its hole like a jigsaw, boom, and it shoots through that hole. That's the size it's fitted for, okay? The first thing that happens is, and every time I take a group with me and show them this, they all jump on the second move, okay? Because the second, as we continue down this line, you will go into a brick building and you will see a spinning machine, and it spins those white caps off. Those white caps immediately going to shoot back on the train. They're going right back on the train. Those white caps, if I lose that, I'll get a mic. Those white caps are being recycled for your plastic pipes. That's what your plastic pipes are made out of, those white caps, all right? The reason my customers jump is there's a magnet that's the size of this room. It's catching all those needles. Because if you're a diabetic, you are taught, shoot, take the needle, put it in a Coca-Cola, and twist the cap for safety reasons. So when we receive them, all those needles shoot at that magnet, okay? That magnet is just covered with needles in any type of metal or anything. It keeps our chopping machine from getting ruined. It also, when it takes that, it also shakes it really hard. In case a needle gets stuck in that syrup, it loosens it up to get out of there. Well, there's for your rocks and all your junk or anything else that you guys put in there, gum or whatever. It all comes flying out with this intense shaking, all righty? Then what happens is that bottle shoots right through acid rinse. Acid rinse peels the label off, peels all the syrup off, everything. It's then chopped up into tiny, tiny little plastic pieces like this. The 7-Up bottles are all over there. These are all clear bottles. If the light doesn't shine through it, it's either a dark peroxide bottle or a 7-Up bottle, kicks it to the left. It doesn't want it mixed with the whites, okay? The very first thing we make at the carpet mills is toothbrushes. It's the very first thing. What we found out was adults will not buy color bristle toothbrushes. Children will. So what we do is we dye that color for the toothbrushes for the children, and then we dye it for the carpet. But once it's chopped up into tiny little pieces, it's then melted. So then these very smart chemists will go over there and they'll get a great big bundle of yellow plastic that they made, or pink plastic that they made, and they mix it all together and it comes out purple somehow, or it'll come out green, or whatever it comes out. It comes out this color right here. This is a toothbrush bristle, is what this really is. It's solid plastic all the way through. So it's like a radish and a carrot. A radish, years ago, which we don't see a lot of anymore, you do in your high-end of hotels like at Vegas, we still use nylon. The reason we use nylon is white, okay? We can dye nylon by heating that yarn and it will accept dye spots. That's how we make those roses and those flowers. We cannot make those roses and flowers out of pop bottles because that's a solid color. We need to have that white so that we re-dye that rose and things of that nature. Later, I'm going to speak about a gentleman named Mark Viola. There's only 4 of him in the entire United States. Mark Viola will actually go into that hotel and he can actually reapply that rose and you will see a brand new rose because that's what Vegas does in these hotels. They will have carpet fade over the years from sunlight, things like that. It's so expensive to replace it all. They can have Mark come in and just redo the roses all the way down. But what he's doing is he's jet dyeing that dye into that white yarn. You cannot do that with this. But this is what you want. It cannot stain. It's impossible to stain. If we come into your house and you tell us it's stained, there's not a mill manufacturer going to come out there and look at it. We're going to come in there and we're going to figure out how to clean that carpet because we know it's impossible to stain it. It's like a carrot. It's this color all the way through. Now, how do they get the different colors? It's very simple. You have a loom, which is a great big sewing machine, okay? This brown, this white, it's all on spindles. It's got yarn spindles like this coming across. There's a great picture in this manual here that shows you the looms, how we make it, the yarns and things like that. It also shows you the manufacturing, the sewing machine, and so on. It's all in this manual. It's our second manual that we wrote. But what it is, so you have a white piece of yarn, which is this one, and you have a brown piece of yarn. We can't dye it, so what we do is we barber pole it. So what it does is, it's coming out of the machine and it's actually barber poling itself together. See what I'm saying? Once it barber poles, now it's that color yarn just like you crochet with or anything. You will notice that when you pick up a carpet, it will have a speck on here. It might say 10th gauge, 5/16 gauge. That usually means nothing to you, but I'm going to tell you what it means. And the books will tell you what it means. What it means is in a 1-inch span of that needle, that sewing machine, we have 10 needles jammed in 1 inch, or we have 8 needles jammed in 1 inch. See what I'm saying? The more needles you have, the more tighter the carpet is, like what you have on the floor here. The less needles you have, the looser the carpet is. Just makes sense. So imagine the easiest way I could teach us is cheesecloth. Imagine cheesecloth being in a great big roll. The cheesecloth comes up, the yarn comes down like a sewing machine, it loops over the cheesecloth, it loops over the cheesecloth, it loops over the cheesecloth. What you get is what you have on the floor, okay? How do we make all of these different designs, all these different sculptures, and all these different looks? The way we make them is we have a hook. The hook will tell you to hook that yarn, and hook that yarn. Is just like mowing your grass. So what happens is if we pull that yarn up and cut it, and that one stays down, you have a high-low effect. If we pull them all up and cut it, you have this effect. So the needle, it's coming down on cheesecloth, it's now being hooked, brought up and cut, brought up and cut. The next move is it continues down the conveyor belt like this, but it's at all different heights. You know what I mean? They start shearing it like you mow the grass. They shear it this way, they shear it this way, and they shear it this way. That's why when you go to install carpet, if you have a piece of carpet like this, and you laid it this way, and this was all laying this way, see how it's all flat? And you bring your seam over here, and you turn it. Now you got one piece going this way, and one going this way. Now you see your seam. See what I'm saying? You gotta make them all go the same way. So what we teach you is, as installers, when you flip this carpet back and you cut this piece off, you put an arrow here on this piece. The piece you took away, you put it on this piece. You look at your arrows on the backing. If that arrow is going that way, you want this arrow to go that way. Or you can do the pencil test, or you can rub it. The pencil test is, the pencil will tell you the direction. If you drop it on there, it's going to roll which way it is. So a lot of times, as a carpet inspector, I will come to your home, I'll see an ugly seam, and I'll go, they reversed it. What's that mean? They didn't make them go the same way. So the light reflection is going to give you two different effects. That's why 90% of the time, your seams stick out. The next thing that installers do wrong, they don't realize that we have made this in rows, like corn, okay? Everything is just like corn. So if you have a knife and you cut across a cornfield, you just screwed up all these yarns. You have to cut the carpet the way the corn is going. You understand? So if you cut the carpet the way the corn's going, you can put it back together. It's going to go straight. It's going to, what we call corn row, but that's what it is. It rolls in corn. I put a great picture in here, and I put in here, this is how carpet's made. It's made in rows. You have to cut it in rows to put good seams together, okay? Just like the picture shows you. So, when it comes to carpet, 9 o'clock, good. When it comes to carpet, the number one thing that you're looking for is polyester or but it can't be polyester. It has to be PET. It stands for a real technical name, but everything is PET, PET. That's what it is. It's polyurethane I forget the technical name on it, but it's PET. I got written in the book here if you really want to be a chemist and understand what it is. But when you look at this, you're looking at PET yarn system. Now, what's the difference in these two? Cost? Yes. But why? Why is this one, Top Gun, more expensive than High Five? They have the same look, they have the same color, they have the same backing, but think about perming your hair. When you perm your hair, you twist that hair so tight and you heat set it into that twist, all righty? That lasts longer than if you do not put any twist in your hair at all, correct? So, when I buy carpet, when I go to Dalton, Georgia, number one, if you go to Dalton, Georgia and buy carpet, and I'll send you to I'll send you to my friends to buy carpet and things like that, but if they pick up for 1 minute that you don't understand the classifications of where they're classifying it, they'll lay you away, okay? When I walk in, I know the difference between a Class A, Class 2, things of this nature. What are they classifying them as, okay? When you go to Dalton, Georgia, you want to look at two things. The twist factor, which I just told you. And the way you look at that is, take it apart. Take your fingers, dig in here. You will see if it has a good twist or if it looks like a blown yarn. If it doesn't have a twist to it, don't buy it. It's a blown yarn. We can buy carpet that looks this thick for like $6, and then we look at a carpet that looks like this and it might cost us $8. Why? This one here is twisted, this is blown. A blown yarn is just going to mat and look like a whipped dog on you, all righty? So when you go to Dalton, Georgia, or if you want to buy carpet online from any of those vendors in Dalton, Georgia, they have Class A or Class 1, means the same thing, but they only do 3 classes, A, B, C. They do first quality, which is no class, it's just first quality, period. I used to buy 100% Class A seconds. Class A seconds mean this is supposed to be white. My inspector gets it, and it's dark looking. It didn't match this sample. That's Class A. They run trowels. In other words, how do they know what this is going to look like? They put a bunch of yarn together. They put cotton candy yarn together. They mix all these yarns, and they run it. But they can't just run 10 feet. They have to run 400 or 500 feet to get the machine time and things like that to make it feasible to get the price point. Well, what do you think they do with all that carpet that they go, oh, that's ugly, we ain't gonna sell that. They kick it in a Class A classification, okay? You could go in there and buy 60 rolls of this color right here that may not ever hit the consumer because the engineer floors or Shaw or somebody said, we don't like that. We make 30 colors, but we only keep 9 of them. The other ones, they get sold to people like me that will buy them up and sell them to the public as first quality carpet, and it's Class A. Now, when you start getting Class Bs are visual defects. You will see it. You will see line streaks. You'll see missing tufts. You'll see whatever, but you'll buy it for more than half price because they want to get rid of it. It's not doing them any good sitting there. Class Bs are terrific for trailers. We used to buy them because what are you going to do? You can cut out a lot of those lines, you know? You can work it into a trailer or a unit. Fishing cabins. I used to cover UP up here in Michigan. I saw a ton of it. They didn't care. They had a cabin. They had hunters. They didn't care. They wanted something warm. They didn't care if it had a streak down the middle, but they bought it. okay? So, in my travels, yes, I sold a lot of Class Bs. I never sold a Class C. You'll never want to buy a Class C. A Class C is take up and returns. That has been installed in someone's home, and something went wrong, and the mill took it back. And the reason the mills take those back is they try to keep the retailers honest. Because retailers will claim you to death, and you say, okay, fine, send me the carpet. Well, if they don't have to send to you, you know they're ripping you off, okay? The mills will do that periodically. They will say, I want it back, you know? I want it all back. The reason is the mills will do that in a situation like this because they'll say, we're going to lose a ton of money here. We need to make sure that ABC Carpet actually put in brand new carpet and just didn't take the carpet and make a settlement with the homeowner. You know what I mean? We're losing too much. We want it all back. Well, if we bring all this back, this is a Class C. Where's Class Cs get used? Dog houses, cat houses. They buy it up. Why not? They buy it for pennies on the dollar. But the mills dump it. And all these people, believe me, that's a big business, cat houses and dog houses and that kind of stuff. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen a ton of it being sold for boat docks and things of that nature. All righty? Now, what questions do you guys have when you go to buy carpet? Any questions? Because the main thing I want you to do, I don't care where you buy your carpet. If you buy carpet, if it's not a level loop like this, if you buy anything of this nature, I want you to take your fingers and pull it apart and see what the perm is. See how tightly twisted it is. The tighter the twist, the longer it's going to last. I use this a lot for your own personal home. Yes?
You may have answered this or talked about it already, but with pads
I didn't yet.
and carpet, does it matter?
Yes, extremely important. That's where I was going next. Okay? In my book, I have a complete program on carpet cushion, all right? In my home, the only cushion in my home is Canadian cushion, okay? I will not put an American-made cushion in my house, period. You guys are close enough to Michigan, you guys can get Canadian cushion, all right? We have a distributor that covers this area called Certified Carpet Distributors. They sell nothing but Canadian cushion. Why? In the United States, we recycle 100% all of our padding. So what happens is, we get our recycled products from the Ford Motor Company, Chrysler, things like that. We get plastic and things like that. We use what they call filler in the United States. So what we do is we start with a mattress. Every carpet pad starts with mattresses. A mattress is formulated into a chemical. It can be, it can give you all these different densities, memory foam, things like that. But it all starts with the mattress. What we do is we trim that mattress to fit that box spring. We buy all the trimmings. Every trimming, most padding companies are owned by mattress companies, okay? So those trimmings that we get off the side of those mattresses, we grind them up. All that trimming, we grind it up. In Canada, they turn it right back into carpet pad, and they sell it as carpet pad back to you, okay? In the United States, we recycle. So we add all kinds of additives. We'll add car parts, we'll add vinyl, we'll add different things to that carpet pad to give you a different density feel. Now, I will tell you, the Canadian cushion has no filler, so it's going to give you a softer walk. It will give you, because it's 100%, you're walking on a mattress, is what you're walking on. The industry standard is 7/16, not half inch, not 3/8, 7/16. Why 7/16? Because the tackless that we put around that edge of this room like a curtain hook to hook this carpet and stretch it, a 7/16 pad matches perfectly. So it's a nice level match. In our home, we have a 1/2 inch. It gives us more sponge, more walk. It'll also give you more problems in the future for stretching and things like that because it's not quite tucked in. But that doesn't bother me because I know how to fix it, so it doesn't really matter to me what, you know. But the industry standard is 7/16. The density, when you look at a carpet pad, the only pad to buy is an 8-pound 7/16, whether it's an American pad or a Canadian pad. The 8-pound is the compression density that is delivered before the carpet will actually start wearing on the floor. So the better the pad, the longer the carpet lasts. I tell everybody, put your money in the pad. Put your money in the pad. Buy the lesser expensive carpet, put your money in the pad. Because the pad is going to make that apartment, the rental, your own personal home, perform longer and last longer. So if you're going to do anything, put your money in the pad. Now, why they have backings. The only reason there's only one pad 100% waterproof, and that is a pad. 90% of your pads look like this right here, okay? The reason that this netting is on this pad is not to hold the pad together. That's a misconception. The reason the netting, the plastic netting's on this pad is so when you stretch it, this slides, okay? If it didn't have that, the carpet backing would grab this pad and start ripping it off the floor. Now, the best pad has the nylon. I had that picture. Has to be. The best pad is the one that has the liner on it. Doggone, it's a pink picture. Where is these pictures? There's a picture in here. Every time you want to find these, and I did tab them before I came, so I thought I could go easy and find them quicker. But the best pad has a top layer on it. Doggone it, where is that picture? I want to show it to you because I think it's important. I know I have it on my video behind me, but the computer turned off there. But I think this is very, very important, and I show you this here. Doggone it, there it is. Just went past it. Here. That's what you're looking for. Anything that's solid on the back of that pad is going to keep the moisture from penetrating into that pad. Don't put staples in it. That's crazy. If you take a stapler and you nail it down, you're just punching holes in it. If you put it down with a stapling gun, put tape over it, put duct tape over it, reseal it again, okay? Because every time you punch holes in, all you're doing is allowing moisture to come through. They made it so they will tell you it all gets taped, is what it does. But any pad with a liner, a felt liner on it, is going to give you protection. The carpet will not. All the carpet, anything is going to penetrate through this. But nothing can penetrate through this if it's felt. Yes, you are correct. It comes in pink, it comes in black. Oh, he said this is the side that the carpet touches. So in other words, this goes up, the other goes down. This is what you want the carpet right here on, but you want to staple it. Now, we are at 9:07. I want to talk to you about what Anna just did today, okay? And literally just did today's meeting. What has happened is I work very, very tightly with the Home Builders Association. in the state of Ohio, we have all these trade schools. The Polaris Trade School, we have all these trade schools. They're teaching children how to do carpenter work, plumbing, electric, HVAC, but they don't teach them how to install carpet. Why not? You guys are landlords. You guys have apartment buildings. You're going to have dogs that rip carpet. You're going to have metal. I mean, this carpet's going to come out of this metal. You're going to have stuff like this happen, all righty? We just developed a school. Instead of it being held in Dalton, Georgia, we're doing it right here. We're going to have some steps built. We're going to come in with a crew. We're going to have some platforms like fake rooms built, okay? We want 10, they don't have to be children, but we want 10 students that want to learn how to install carpet, all right? When they're done, I guarantee you, they will be able to fix this seam. They will be able to do that repair. They'll be able to take any dog area, fix it, whether we have to take it out of the closet for the carpet to match because there's dialots and things like that. But we're actually, Anna picked the dates today. What are those, August 12th? It's a Friday, Saturday. We're going to bring our crew here, our installers. But when they leave, they will hold a certification. That certification will allow them not only to be a carpet installer, it will allow them to take the advancement certification, which will allow them to do moisture tests. It will allow them to do different cleanings. They'll know how to get blood out of carpet. They'll know how to clean anything. Now, let me tell you what happened to us. Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day, Amazon built a brand new building in Akron, Ohio. They had to have flooring. We did not have a certified inspector to come to Akron, Ohio to do moisture tests. You know how easy it is to do a moisture test? You take a little drill, you go to the corner, you drill it, you put a moisture meter in there, and it reads the moisture level. But this floor can't go down unless we know the moisture level here. We paid a gentleman $2,000 to drive from Chicago to Canton, Ohio to do 17 moisture tests, and he drove home within 4 hours, he was gone. But without that moisture test, you'll tell him what will happen. The floor will buckle because we need to know what sealer, like you sealed your concrete, sealers work differently. We need to know how much moisture to put the right sealer down. So we are looking for inspectors. We're looking for installers. If you guys know anybody, you're our support team. I'm out here right now talking to Modern Carpet. I'm talking to Ream Snyder. I'm talking to all the retailers. These retailers are going to be supporting this school because eventually these children will leave here and go there and work, and we need them. I was talking to your roofer, he needs them. So I do want to push the fact, yes, for $50, you can buy my book. You'll get the 14 videos as I showed you. It will educate you. For $150, I'll spend a one-on-one with you. But for $4.99, we're going to spend 2 8-hour days here, and it's intense. But these people, whoever graduate, will be able to go to work tomorrow, and they will be. I always tell people, when you graduate trade school as a plumber, you're not truly a plumber. You're a glorified helper. You know, you will become a plumber. Same thing here. You're not an installer, but you're a great helper. Questions?
By the way, before he arrived in Toledo, that was a $100 booklet.
Yes, it was.
Just so you know.
She said, I'll get this, students. So I said, all right, then we made that deal. Yep. You got one of the best. Yes, you do. Because I deal with all of them.
Microphone.
Well-
there is a follow-up in July for Akron Canton.
Yes. I had some people at the Dayton location say, I don't want to wait. can I go to Akron Canton? I said, sure, just give them a hotel room. You know, why not? You're in Dayton, you're 3 hours away. So she's sending, her nephew is going to come to my school. He's already paid for it, he's already locked in. He's going to do Akron on the 26th. I have 7 sold in Akron now, 20, because we did 2 dates in Akron. We're doing the 12th and 13th and the 26th, 27th. Then we'll be back here in August, and we're looking to come back here again possibly in July. I mean, in September.
We're
Yeah.
working on the HBA, but don't
Hold your breath on that.
hold your breath on that.
Right.
We already beat them up for an excellent price here because actually the price is $6.99, correct?
Yeah, it was $6.99. I left the flyers in the car, but I could bring them in. The reason it was $6.99 was I have to pay all those installers, their traveling fees, their hotels, I have to feed them and everything else. But Anna told me that we will have 10 or more. If I get 10 or more, we got enough expenses to pay for those guys. I personally won't do that course. I will be here, but I personally am not going to be down on my hands and knees because these guys are so much better than me.
And as always, Toledo does give you your breakfast and your lunch. So we make sure you're taken care of once you arrive so you can get that state certification.
Yes, you want that state certification. That's what you want. Yes.
So you talked about the LVP flooring. I didn't hear anything about leveling subfloor ahead of time. Do you have any tips or tricks for that?
No, because of the fact that is a on-site. In other words, you as a carpet retailer, I sold for many, many years. And what happens is I wouldn't give you a price, even in your own home, to level a subfloor, because once we start into it, we don't know what we're truly going to get into, alrighty? How much Ardex we're going to need, how much leveling it's going to take. I have actually charged people and said, listen, we didn't do the work, we're taking it off your bill, because we found out it was easier than what we thought, okay? Now, if you want to, if you want a direct answer on that, I will give you Mark Viola. He's the head installer that will be here on the 12th. You could ask him that over the phone. If you want, just email me or call me, and I'll give you Mark's number.
So say you're putting luxury premium vinyl down.
Yes.
Coming from, say, a kitchen to a dining room or something like that. Sorry.
Yes.
And you have a drop in
Yes.
the flooring. Say it's like 1/4 inch.
Yes.
What do you do? I mean,
Ardex. What
is
we do
that?
there is, to answer your question a little bit more, a lot of times when you have those drops, you can feather that enough to kind of feather it to be level. You don't have to do the whole floor. You see what I'm saying? To get that drop. In my house, I had ceramic this thick, and then I had my floor down here. We actually went to Tractor Supply. You know that rubber that they use in the horse stalls? We were actually able to use that rubber to level that floor, to get that level to come down and build up and Ardex it, and it's perfect. So there's many tricks to leveling floors. But I can't give you a standard answer because they're all different, you know? We don't know until we actually look at what's involved or how we're going to do it until we actually look at it.
Okay, guys, how about a round of applause for our global expert?
Thanks, guys.
If you learned half as much as I did, whether you do it yourself or not, you will be the expert to make sure they're doing it right for you, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I do have books. If anybody wants to purchase one before you leave, I do have them. So you let me know.
I got one. For sure.